Hello again, Dorn Markowitz here with another edition of This Week in Cool Guitar Repairs. This week's particular instrument is the one I previously mentioned in the last video with the National Flat Top. This is a National Archtop that belongs to the same collector, Jean Pierre Klifa of JPK Handbags. This was made circa in the 50s, and it was previously owned by the conductor that they based the movie Mr. Holland's Opus on. It came from his estate. When I got it in my hands, it was a little rough. It needed, all the tuning buttons were starting to decay. In fact, one of them was missing, so I had to replace all of the tuner buttons. What's neat about these tuners is that it's a regular strip set of tuners that has this really decorative housing over it with the national stamp in it. It's very cool. There were a lot of things about it that are also really neat, such as the way the neck is mounted. It's actually bolted on using one large Allen wrench screw here and two more here, so you can adjust the pitch and so forth. So that was very handy because he wanted me to electrify it, and the way I had to mount everything, I needed to be able to adjust the neck, and it came out great. This screw actually holds the plate on that covers it, so you don't see this cast iron ugly plate. So I use that to my advantage as well by mounting a strap button there also, which he wanted. He wanted me to basically install an electronic system in this too, and this is something that I love doing. I love taking old archtops, old beaters and so forth, and electrifying them, but doing it in such a way to where I don't drill any permanent holes or anything other than maybe routing a wire or the end pin, the jack itself. What I did was I utilized one of the holes on the side of the fingerboard at the end. It had two screw holes on each side to show that it previously had a pickup mounted there, but it was missing. There's a hole here that's running through that I thought was a screw hole to help anchor the fingerboard into the body, because some companies did that back in the day, but that wasn't the case because the hole, when I took the neck off, I noticed the hole was very oversized. So that told me it was probably to route the wires or something. The other reason I knew that this thing was previously electrified was because when I took off the tailpiece in order to run a ground wire to ground all the electronics, it had already previously been grounded because there was a wire existing there, which I utilized. So I made a new pickguard for it. It didn't have a pickguard, so I made this one. You can see a nice beveled edge all the way around, and I mounted the 250K volume and tone pots on the guitar, on the pickguard. If you look closely, you can see the mechanics of it. I also mounted the three-way toggle switch for the neck pickup and the transducer contacts, which I'll get to in a minute, right on the pickguard, and, well, you can't really tell from this angle, but I have it strategically placed where it falls right into this area of the F-hole. So that way, again, I'm not drilling any holes and I'm utilizing everything to my advantage. The pickups that I went with were a combination of K&K Pure Archtop Dual Transducer System, designed for archtop guitars, and this neck mount humbucker, mini-humbucker jazz guitar pickup from Kent Armstrong. What's nice about them is that you get the nice darker textures of the archtop pickup in the neck. If I roll off the tone, it gets a nice, beboppy, jazzy sound. When you put the two together, you hear some sparkle comes in. And then the transducers by themselves. There's one on each side, just inside the F-hole, glued on. As is usually wont with transducers, they are prone to feedback if you're not careful. So what I had to do was I basically had to wire the transducers to a resistor set that I came up with, in this case a 68K resistor set, wired to the switch. So that way it would darken it a little bit and suppress some of those tendencies to feed back. And then of course I wired a .022 capacitor here which, you know, really helps back it off nicely as well. Very sensitive tone control. I mean, you can back off as much as you need. And this is, whatever. This, in my opinion, is the sweet spot. Both pickups on. That's the way I prefer. Anyway, because you get the touch of the magnetic and the body sensitivity as well. Keep in mind, he wanted this strung with 10 gauge acoustic strings. Now, bronze strings, the wound bronze strings, tend to be less magnetic, have less magnetic strength than the plain steel. So to compensate for that, if you look closely, you can see that I actually angled the neck pickup higher on the bass side than on the treble side. Looks cockeyed, but the thing is, the only way to get proper balance between the two sides is to do that. And like I said, it originally was drilled for a neck pickup, so I used that to my advantage. What I did was I glued a piece of walnut that I rough shaped to the same contour as the top to the underside of the fingerboard, and I used that screw hole I was telling you about before to hold it together. And that way I could mount the pickup, you can't see it now, but I could mount this side of the pickup on the walnut piece, and this side I can mount it there. Now I have it drilled here as well. In case he decides to go to electric guitar strings, you could pop it down, suddenly everything's level, and our balance is good again. So, anyway, like I said, I set it up with 10 to 46 acoustic strings, very light. The action is nice and low and buttery. The frets were in great shape, didn't need anything. I had to shim the bridge because the holes that were drilled for the height adjustment posts were actually drilling all the way through, and they were digging into the body, which was no good. So I cut a couple pieces of maple, you know, 1/8 inch, just under 1/8 inch, and glued them onto the underside of the base of the bridge and mounted it, and that was it. A couple of old Decaware knobs made in Chicago. Yeah, it's a very nice guitar, and it plays really well. Even acoustically, it has a nice sound to it. Oh, and another thing, he's a fingerstyle player. He plays claw hammer style like Mark Knopfler. So I wanted to find a pickup arrangement that would best enhance that approach, being warmer and so forth. And I think I struck a nice balance with that. So if you were to, you know, finger pick on this guitar, yeah, you can hear that. So anyway, okay, I guess that's enough out of me for today. Thanks for watching, and should you need any kind of assistance in this type of regard or whatever, making a pick guard for your guitar, mounting electronics, fretwork, body work, so on and so forth, please don't hesitate to give me a call at 305-896-1811. Until next time, Dorn Markowitz from D Guitars Miami. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.